Hey everybody, welcome to the Stack Your Points. This is the Monday edition, which is our Back to Basics segment. This is a section where we talk about all things basic credit cards, whether it is knowing what an introductory APR offer is, what are transfer partners and how do I access them, what rules does American Express have. All of this and more will be answered in this section. This is our weekly section, just getting those who are new to credit cards kind of up to speed.
All right. Well, as always, we're going to jump into our back to basics of the week. Back to basics is always a sort of 30,000-foot view of the credit card world to kind of get those who are interested and just learning about credit cards an idea of what the landscape is like. Today's back to basics is going to be a little bit more of a 102, 112, maybe even a 201 level subject if you were thinking about things in terms of college. Terrible time for me, but we're going to talk about effective annual fees. Now, the 30,000-foot view I can give you on effective annual fees is an annual fee is what you pay for the privilege to use a certain credit card. Cards with annual fees would include the Chase Sapphire Preferred card I don't particularly love, but is loved on YouTube. The Chase Sapphire Reserve, the American Express Gold card, the American Express Platinum card, the IHG Premier Business card has an annual fee. The IHG Premier Personal card has an annual fee. So annual fee cards will come with additional perks in addition to slightly elevated earnings on some cards. Not the American Express Platinum card because you only get Travel Portal and then everything else is 1x. So the effective annual fee is what has been sold as an idea of you have the annual fee and then the perks that you get with the card will subtract from that annual fee, giving you a lower fee because of the credits that are attached to the card or other value propositions attached to the card that make the card effectively free or effectively lower in cost. Great examples on this would be we can talk about all the credits on the American Express Platinum card. I'm not going to talk about those right now, but the $50 hotel credit in the Chase Travel Portal with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the $300 annual travel credit that you get on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, all of these would lower the fee of the card, but really you're still paying the annual fee. So effective annual fee. Let's jump over to Lonnie for a little bit more on this subject.
Man, you had to let me go first. I'll try to keep this one short. I hate the term effective annual fee. I'm just going to go out and say it. Hang up now, hit the button, go to the next video, because I'm not going to change my stance on this. There is no such thing to me as an effective annual fee. Now, if that's the way that you do your boy girl math, whatever. But the annual fee is the annual fee. That is the absolute cost. Now, if you get any value back in whatever way, shape, or form, good for you, but that doesn't mean that your annual fee is any lower. At the same time, when I hear people use the term effective annual fee, they use those credits and benefits at 100% value. So using Chase Sapphire Reserve, which is the easiest one, or Capital One Venture X, those two are super easy because they both have a $300 travel credit as part of the benefits of the card. Now, one is $550, the other one is $395, but you get your $300 back. So people will say, oh, the effective annual fee is $250 or $95. No, it's not. It's $550 and it's $395. The reason why is if you don't use that full $300 credit on either card, the term effective annual fee just went in the trash can because you didn't get $250 because you didn't use all 300 of it. Great example of this is you see retailers, fast food, use these types of marketing gimmicks, what we call bounce back coupons or bounce back offers all the time. I'll use Burger King, for example. You go and buy a Whopper or combo meal. On the back of your receipt, if you ever actually read it, it says you fill out this survey, you do this and all this other stuff online, and you say that you made a purchase here today. We'll give you a free Whopper on your next visit. Okay, cool. So let's just say I went and did all that, right? Well, did I effectively not pay for my Whopper? No, because I still had to pay for a Whopper, and now I had to go back to Burger King to get another Whopper. Even though that is free, effectively, I still paid for the Whopper. So the credit is that benefit. Or if I was thinking of retail, Matt, I like your gray shirt that you're rocking right now. Let's just say, fully hypothetical here, so bear with me. Let's say that t-shirt costs $50, right? You buy it online. I'm using round numbers here. That's why I said bear with me. The t-shirt probably didn't cost $50. But anyway, it costs $50. They charge you $10 in shipping. You decide that you don't like that shirt anymore, and now you return it. They don't give you your refund on the shipping. So did you effectively pay $50 or $60 for that t-shirt? You're actually now negative $10. Effective annual fee does not exist. Your annual fee is your annual fee. Calculate as that. Keep all the credits, benefits, or value that you get back from the card itself as a separate equation somewhere else. And hopefully that you get that particular value back that will equal the cost of the annual fee. But nothing is coming off of that annual fee, y'all. So I tried to keep it as short as possible.
I definitely wanted to jump to you first just because I'm well aware of your particular feelings on this one. RJ, do you have anything to follow up with?
So I feel very much like Lonnie in terms of, I think effective annual fee is a great marketing term from the credit card community to get people to be interested in cards with higher annual fees. Because if I talk about the Venture X, and that's the easiest card I think to talk about, $300 travel credit, and then you get 10,000 points as an annual bonus, right? At the end of your year, when the card renews, you get 10,000 points. So that's $100. So now you're making $5 a year on this card, but they're not putting $5 into my account and just calling it a wash, right? Like I'm still paying them almost $400 for this card. I do think, and similarly to what Lonnie said, keep a list of your annual fees. Keep a list of the credits you actually use, right? Like I will get full value out of the Dunkin' credit on my gold card. I am not worried about that as a credit I'm going to use. It's set up for auto pay. I will use well over the $120 that I'm going to put on there, minus the 36th of my money. You know, I will use it all. I'm in the Northeast. I'm white. What can I say? It's like a moth to a flame. So I know I'm going to use that credit, but it's not effectively taking it off of my fee. I can't go to Amex and say, hey, if I give you my Resi credit back, so I don't get a Resi credit, can you just take that off my bill? Like that, the first credit card company that lets you do that has just won the internet, right? If Amex said, we'll take, you can pick the benefits, right? We'll start at a $500 card, and you just take off the benefits you don't want, and you only pay the annual fee on the benefits we have left. Now that would be game changing, but they don't do that. So yes, if you get the full value out of it, you can be $100 up, or I make about $150 to $300 on my platinum, depending on how you evaluate it, right? But everybody is going to evaluate lounge access differently. I might evaluate it as I'm going to have a couple of drinks. So it's maybe 50 or $60, depending on, you know, what I'm calculating in like New York City, the cost of a drink. But if I'm in Oklahoma and there's a lounge that I'm at, maybe the drink is only $15 relative to where I am, right? So even getting into that math can be sort of fooling yourself into what you think everything is worth. So it's hard to truly calculate an effective annual fee unless it's something as straightforward as the Venture X. And even then you're still paying the money up front. So if say something happens and you are doing a bunch of subs and you forget about that $300, Capital One's not giving you that $300 back if your new annual fee hits and you didn't use that credit. So it's gone. You paid the full thing. So some annual fees are easier to negotiate, but I don't think that ease of negotiation should take away from the annual fee in our minds. And I think I ultimately think it's a really easy tactic that the credit card community has come up with, and that in certain ways credit card companies have riffed off of in sort of a chicken or the egg, which came first way of making people not think about annual fees the same way. I pay nearly $3,000 a year in annual fees. That will come down next year quite a bit because a couple of business cards I won't need, but I don't get to give that money back or give anything back for annual fees. So I paid it out. All of my annual fees are paid for the year. So that money is not available to me.
RJ, I think you hit one extra thing that was just absolute genius in that statement. It's what, first off, your Duncan statement, and show the people your coffee kettle thing again. That is one
It's
heck of a
about the
coffee kettle.
size of my face, okay?
Anyway, is the credit card companies themselves don't use the term effective annual fee. And that should be a clear sign that it does not exist. So going back to Amex, as you said $500 in your scenario there. They're not advertising, here's the Amex whatever card, right? For $500. But after I give you credit X, Y, and Z, effectively you're only going to pay $180 a year for it. They're not doing that, which is why effective annual fee does not exist, because they don't see it that way. They're getting their money. Make sure you get yours.
No, Amex did at one time have a card, the Zinc card, that sort of was the opposite of that, where like you had a base level $25 annual fee, but you could add other features to the card. But that's not like, here's your $500 card, and oh, you've used this credit, we're going to refund you 100. Oh, you've used this credit, we're going to refund you another 100. And I'm working around numbers because I don't want to fry my brain. But American Express is definitely a company that is big on these credits, and when trying to explain these credits, the community does go into, oh, well, you're going to get all of this value, but they're valuing everything at 100%. The Dunkin' credit, they would say, oh, $84 a year right off the top. The Resi credit, oh, if you happen to use the Resi credit, and they like to mention that, yeah, you have to use the credit. If you use the credit, that's another $100 off the top, and then the rideshare credit, which is stupid, and the dining credit, which is even stupider. They also bring those up. I don't know why I'm throwing punches at the American Express Gold card. I'm sorry. It was just the one that's in my crosshairs at the moment. And yeah, Tariq, your thoughts on this one?
Okay, so this might be a little against the grain, just off the general consensus of my fellow co-hosts. While I do understand why the effective annual fee term can be is deemed nonsensical, in some use cases, I kind of understand why. Not every card, but there's certain cards, and for me personally, I don't use the term effective annual fee as much as I did maybe before we started this podcast. But there are some cards where the way I budget personally, I kind of use it effectively in the sense of the statement credits that I'm getting on the card are getting taken off the balance, and that money that I'm doing is just allocating towards the annual fee. Perfect example would be like the U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve, where it's $400 annual fee, and you get a $325 travel and dining credit. Me personally, I eat out a lot. I can eat out $300 in a year. I was going to spend that money regardless. So for me, I see it as an effective annual fee on that card specifically, because I was going to eat out, regardless if I was going to get the card or not. So I'm getting $325 back, which I am taking and applying to the annual fee. So effectively, I'm paying $75 for that card. Now, obviously, with cards like the Gold card or the Sapphire Preferred, it's a weird case where, yeah, it may not work, especially with like the Uber credit. That Uber credit isn't credit as a statement credit, that's going in as like Uber Cash to your Uber account. So like I don't have an effective annual fee on my Sapphire Preferred because, one, I'm probably not going to use that $50 hotel credit because I try to book everything with points. And two, even though I have the DoorDash credit and I may use that $10 non-grocery credit, one, I don't use it all the time. And two, I see it as it's being taken off of my DoorDash bill versus it being shown as a statement credit. So I think the use case of effective annual fee as a one size fits all is incorrect. And once you kind of get into like the nitpicking details of it is where it gets complicated and it kind of loses the value. Like my Hyatt business card, perfect example. You get two $50 statement credits to use when at the Hyatt properties. Because of Lonnie's point stack hacks that he showed in his video, I
You're
started
welcome.
eating at, yes, thank you. I started eating more at Hyatt restaurants. Just example, when I was at the Tommy in Austin, there was a diner right on Fifth Street, and I found that I could charge to the room. Cool. I was gonna have breakfast there anyway, charge to the room, and if it was $50 or more, I would have been $50 taken off the card. So in that sense, sure, if I would have done that both times, I'm gonna stay at 2 Hyatt properties at least while I have this card. I could make the argument that I will effectively have a $99 annual fee on this card because I'm getting $100 in statement credits that I would in turn apply to the annual fee. But that's only on my personal case because of the budget that I use. Again, your mileage may vary in that sense. So TLDR, if the term works for you and you're not doing too much work and too much justification, cool. But I do agree that it probably shouldn't be as heavily marketed in the credit card community because it could potentially be harmful for other viewers and people trying to learn, which is why this is not a 101 topic and more of a 102 or 201, like Matt said.
Yeah, I think one other way we could probably look at it, not with US based cards, there are cards that do a monthly service fee, where if you had like a monthly credit back, you could think of it in terms of that. One of the best cases I can think of would be in Canada, they have the American Express Cobalt card. That is like a $12.95 Canadian monthly service fee. And if they had like a, let's say, $7 monthly credit for dining out, because you get 5 times points dining out on that card, which, please, American Express, if you have half a soul, you'll bring the Cobalt to America where it rightly belongs, because we will eat out all the time. Anyway, that card has a $12.95 Canadian monthly service fee. But if you're eating out and you get like a $7 credit back, it's that concept that we were talking about where you're able to take off of that fee as long as you're able to do it. It's still not the same, but similar. RJ, if you had anything you wanted to potentially back me up on that one, maybe?
No, I think that's a good point. I think if we did pay, if Amex or Chase or whoever gave us the option, you can pay your annual fee all at once or you can pay it monthly. Then the cards with the monthly credits, you could at least make a better justification. I don't know if I would buy it 100%, but I think you could make a justification, especially what is it, the Brilliant that's got like a $25 a month, or you can dole it out at $25 a month for a dining credit. So yeah, like if you were paying, I don't want to do the math, but you're paying $50 a month to have the card and you got a $25 dining credit. And if you know you're going out at least once, you're going to hit that, right? Like that I could see. At least it wouldn't annoy me as much as it does in US based cards where everything is upfront and then you sort of go from there. But yeah, I think I think the Cobalt should come to the US, and 2, I think that Americans should have a monthly annual fee option because we're used to subscriptions already. It's just one more.